An old black Vatren woman wearing a red MAGA hat, sitting alone on the sidewalk. Her face looked tired, and her hands held a small sign. The sign told her story in just a few words. She was a black veteran who had served her country with pride. But now, she was homeless and struggling to survive. Each day, people walked past her without stopping. They didn't ask her anything. They didn't even look at her. She faced not only poverty, but also racism. Yet she stayed strong, hoping for a better tomorrow. One day, a passerby stopped near her and recorded a short video. The video showed her sitting quietly, with the sign resting in her lap. The video quickly spread online, reaching millions of people. Many felt sad for her, but only one person decided to take action. That person was Donald Trump. What he did next shocked everyone. His actions would change her life forever, in ways no one could have imagined. But wait, before you know what Trump did next, if you believe no veteran should be homeless, do these 3 things right now. Smash that subscribe button, hit like to spread her story, and type respect in the comments. She wasn't just any woman on the street. She was a veteran who had once stood tall and proud in her uniform, ready to serve her country. Her early years in the military were full of dedication and hard work. She believed deeply in the values of freedom and equality, and she worked tirelessly to protect them. But when her service ended, life took a turn she hadn't expected. After leaving the military, she struggled to adjust to civilian life. Jobs were hard to find, and the system that was supposed to support her seemed broken. Despite her best efforts, she soon found herself without a home. Being homeless was hard enough, but being a black woman in this situation brought additional challenges. People often judged her before even speaking to her. She faced constant rejection, not only because of her circumstances, but also because of her race. Through all of this, she held on to her beliefs. She was a proud Republican who valued independence, hard work, and personal responsibility. She also believed in Donald Trump's message of change, even though others often questioned her loyalty to him. Her MAGA hat, which she wore even while living on the streets, was her way of showing that she hadn't lost hope. To her, the hat wasn't just political. It was personal. It was a statement of resilience, a reminder that she believed in her ability to turn things around. But the hat brought her more trouble than comfort. Strangers mocked her, hurled insults, or simply looked away. Some even questioned her integrity, accusing her of betraying her identity as a black woman by supporting Trump. Still, she refused to take it off. For her, it was a symbol of strength and faith in something greater than herself. Every day on the sidewalk became a test of her endurance. She faced harsh weather, hunger, and the cold indifference of the world around her. Yet, despite everything, she refused to give up. Her strength didn't come from her circumstances, but from within. She held tightly to the values she fought for, reminding herself that hope was all she had left. One ordinary day, as she sat quietly on the sidewalk, holding her sign and wearing her MAGA hat, something unexpected happened. A passerby noticed her. They didn't just walk by like so many others had done before. Instead, they paused, pulled out their phone, and started recording. The video captured her sitting silently, her sign resting in her lap, and her MAGA hat sitting firmly on her head. The camera lingered on her face, showing her quiet strength and the unspoken struggles of her life. The video, just a few seconds long, made its way to the internet. At first, only a few people noticed. Then, it started to spread. Within hours, hundreds of people were sharing it, commenting on her courage, and wondering how she ended up on the streets. Within days, the video went viral. Social media platforms were flooded with reactions. Some people praised her resilience, calling her a symbol of strength and hope. They admired her courage to wear the MAGA hat, even as a homeless black woman, knowing the criticism it might bring. Others, however, were quick to judge. They mocked her beliefs, questioned her choices, and debated her political stance. Despite the mixed reactions, her story resonated with millions. People debated how someone who had given so much to her country could end up living on the streets. They shared her story, calling attention to the challenges faced by veterans and the failures of a system that had left her behind. For many, she became more than just a person on the sidewalk. She was a reminder of the struggles so many others endured in silence. The video caught the attention of news outlets and commentators, sparking discussions about race, politics, and homelessness. Debates raged online, with some focusing on her MAGA hat as a symbol of hope, and others criticizing her for supporting Trump. It wasn't just a video anymore. It had become a symbol of something bigger, a conversation about dignity, resilience, and the country's treatment of its veterans. Among the millions who saw the video was Donald Trump himself. Late one evening, as he scrolled through his phone, the video appeared in his feed. At first, it was just another viral clip, but something about her caught his attention. Her hat, her calm presence, and the words on her sign all struck a chord with him. He replayed the video, watching her expression and the strength she carried despite her struggles. Trump wasn't someone to ignore a moment like this. He immediately contacted his team, asking them to find out everything they could about her. Who was she? Where was she? What had led her to this point? He wanted answers, but more than that, he wanted to help. While the rest of the world continued to talk about her online, Trump was already planning the next step. What began as a simple video was about to change her life forever. If this story touches your heart, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We share powerful stories of transformation that often go untold. Hit that like and subscribe button to never miss these important moments of human kindness. Donald Trump was not someone who ignored what he saw. When the video of the homeless veteran reached him, it left a deep impression. He replayed it several times, watching her sitting quietly with her MAGA hat and her handwritten sign. The strength and dignity she showed despite her struggles resonated with him. For Trump, it wasn't just another viral video, it was a call to action. Without any hesitation, he contacted his team. "I need to meet her," he said firmly. They immediately began searching for her location, using every resource they had. It didn't take long before they tracked her down. While the internet was busy debating her story, Trump was preparing to do something no one expected. On the day Trump arrived, the atmosphere on the street changed. He pulled up in his car without any media or grand announcements. People nearby froze in disbelief as he stepped out and walked toward her. Dressed simply, without the usual fanfare, he approached her quietly. She didn't notice him at first, sitting as she always did, her eyes focused on the ground. But when he stood in front of her, she looked up and realized who he was. At first, she was speechless. She had supported him through her beliefs and actions, and now he was standing right in front of her. Trump broke the silence, asking about her life, her military service, and how she ended up in this situation. His voice was calm and genuine as he listened carefully to her story. She spoke openly, sharing the pain of homelessness, the judgment she faced as a Black Republican woman, and the daily challenges of living on the streets. As she spoke, Trump nodded thoughtfully. He didn't interrupt or dismiss her struggles. Instead, he showed understanding and respect. For the first time in years, she felt truly heard. But Trump wasn't just there to listen. As their conversation ended, he looked her in the eye and said, "You've given so much for this country. Now it's time for us to give back to you." Those words marked the beginning of a life-changing moment. Trump immediately called his team, instructing them to arrange housing for her. He promised her a job, ensuring she would have a steady income. His actions weren't for show. They were driven by a genuine desire to help. The people who witnessed this interaction were left stunned. It wasn't just about politics or publicity. It was about compassion. This meeting, captured by a few onlookers, soon became a story that inspired millions. Trump's simple act of sitting with her on the cold sidewalk became a symbol of hope and humanity. It was a moment no one could have predicted, but one that would change her life forever. Trump's promise to help wasn't just words. He acted immediately. Within minutes of leaving the woman, his team was already making arrangements. Calls were made, plans were set, and solutions were put into motion. The first priority was securing her a safe place to live. By the end of the day, she was no longer homeless. Trump personally ensured that she had a clean, comfortable space to stay, far from the cold sidewalks she had called home for so long. Next came the offer of a job. Trump understood the importance of independence and dignity, and he wanted to ensure she had a stable future. He didn't just promise her any job, he ensured it was something meaningful, aligned with her skills and values. The woman who had served her country with pride now had the chance to rebuild her life. News of Trump's actions began to spread, and the story captured the nation's attention. The video of the meeting on the sidewalk, combined with the updates about his efforts to help her, became the focus of countless conversations. Some people praised his compassion and quick action, while others questioned his motives. Yet, for the woman, none of that mattered. For her, this was a second chance, a chance to move forward with hope and purpose. As Trump's team worked to provide immediate support, he went a step further. He decided to use her story to highlight the struggles of other veterans facing similar challenges. He announced a new initiative aimed at addressing homelessness among veterans. This wasn't just about one person anymore. It became a movement. His pledge to provide resources, housing, and job opportunities for veterans across the country inspired others to take action. The woman's transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. For years she had felt invisible, judged, and forgotten. But now she felt seen. The kindness shown by Trump and the support from others gave her the confidence to believe in herself again. She started to think about her future with hope, something she hadn't done in years. Onlookers who had witnessed Trump sitting on the sidewalk with her now shared their own stories of what they saw. Videos and photos from the day spread like wildfire, adding fuel to the movement. People who had ignored her before now came forward to offer help, inspired by what they had seen. The ripple effect was undeniable. What started as a simple act of compassion had grown into a powerful statement about humanity, resilience, and the need for change. Trump's actions didn't just change her life, they sparked a national conversation. People began to see homelessness and veteran struggles in a new light. What was once overlooked was now front and center, and the woman's story became a symbol of hope for countless others. The ripple effects of Trump's actions didn't stop with this woman. Her story became the turning point in a broader movement. Inspired by her strength and resilience, Trump made a public announcement that left the nation in awe. He committed to launching a nationwide initiative to address the growing issue of homelessness among veterans. This wasn't just a promise, it was a detailed plan backed by resources, partnerships, and a renewed focus on providing dignity to those who had served the country. In his announcement, Trump spoke directly about her journey, highlighting her courage as an example of the countless veterans who faced similar struggles. He shared her story to shed light on the systemic issues that had failed people like her. "This is not just about one person," he said. "This is about fixing a problem that should never have existed. Our veterans deserve better." The initiative aimed to provide housing, job opportunities, mental health support, and financial aid to struggling veterans across the country. Trump emphasized that her experience had opened his eyes to the depth of the issue, and he called on businesses, organizations, and communities to join the effort. His words weren't just political rhetoric. They carried the weight of genuine commitment. For the first time in years, many veterans felt seen and hopeful. The woman herself became a powerful voice in this movement. As her life transformed, she stepped forward to advocate for others. She shared her story at events and interviews, encouraging people to see the faces behind homelessness. Her MAGA hat, once a source of ridicule, became a symbol of her resilience and the compassion that had changed her life. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving, with a newfound purpose to help others. As the initiative gained momentum, stories of other veterans inspired by her courage began to surface. These were individuals who had long felt forgotten, but now had a platform to share their struggles and receive the help they needed. Local communities started coming together, organizing fundraisers and creating safe spaces for veterans. It was more than just a program. It became a national movement of empathy and action. The media quickly picked up on this transformation. News outlets, social media, and commentators couldn't stop talking about the impact of Trump's actions. Photos of him sitting on the sidewalk with her became iconic, representing hope and the potential for change. Critics and supporters alike found themselves drawn into the larger conversation about homelessness, racism, and the responsibility to support veterans. Communities across the country began organizing local efforts to help veterans in need. Inspired by the initiative, people started donating, volunteering, and advocating for change. What began as one act of kindness had grown into a movement of compassion and action. The woman's journey became the catalyst for something far greater than anyone could have imagined. Trump's efforts were not without criticism, but the results spoke for themselves. The woman, once invisible to the world, now stood as a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of kindness. Her story reminded everyone that even the smallest act of compassion could spark a revolution of change. Her life had completely transformed. From sitting on the sidewalk with nothing but a sign and a MAGA hat, she now had a home, a job, and most importantly, a renewed sense of purpose. The support she received from Donald Trump and the community gave her the foundation to rebuild what she had lost. No longer did she wake up to the cold pavement or the indifferent stares of passers-by. Instead, she started each day with hope and a vision for her future. Her transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. For years, she had felt invisible and forgotten, a victim of a broken system and societal judgments. But now, she felt seen, valued, and supported. The kindness shown to her reignited her belief in humanity and her own ability to overcome challenges. The weight of being ignored and judged began to lift, replaced by a sense of belonging and hope. As her life stabilized, she found herself eager to give back. She became an advocate for others who were still struggling, especially veterans. Sharing her story at events, in interviews, and through social media, she encouraged people to look beyond stereotypes and judgments. She spoke of the struggles veterans face, homelessness, racism, and a lack of support, and called for change. Her MAGA hat, once a source of ridicule, became a symbol of resilience and hope. She wore it proudly, not just as a political statement, but as a reminder of her journey and the compassion that saved her. Her message resonated with people across the country. Communities began organizing to support veterans in meaningful ways. Donations to veteran-focused organizations surged, and volunteer efforts grew stronger. People started seeing homelessness not as an individual failing, but as a societal issue requiring compassion and action. The impact of Trump's actions had spread far beyond her, creating ripples of change that reached countless others. This movement gave her a new purpose. No longer a victim of circumstances, she became a leader, inspiring others to fight for their dignity and rights. Her voice, once silenced by hardship, now carried weight and purpose. She reminded people that change is always possible, and even the smallest act of kindness can spark a revolution. Her story stood as a powerful testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. From the streets to a life of stability, her journey showed the world that resilience, compassion, and hope can overcome even the darkest challenges. Her journey is a testament to the power of compassion and the resilience of the human spirit. From being overlooked and dismissed on the streets to becoming a symbol of hope and transformation, her story reminds us that no one is truly invisible. One simple act of kindness changed everything, not just for her, but for many others inspired by her courage and strength. Donald Trump's actions highlighted a critical truth. Change often begins with listening and acting on what we hear. By sitting beside her, listening to her story, and taking immediate steps to help, he demonstrated the potential for leadership that isn't about politics, but about humanity. The initiative he launched in her honor became a beacon of hope for countless veterans across the country. For years, they had faced the same struggles she endured: homelessness, judgment, and systemic neglect. Trump's efforts reminded everyone of the responsibility we share in lifting others up. Her MAGA hat, once a source of ridicule, became a powerful symbol of resilience. It stood for her beliefs, her journey, and the hope she carried even when life was at its hardest. She turned what many saw as a weakness into a strength, using her story to inspire others to take action. She showed the world that even in the face of criticism, staying true to your values can lead to something extraordinary. Communities across the country began to change. Inspired by her story, people organized local efforts to help veterans and the homeless. Donations increased, volunteers stepped forward, and initiatives to address systemic issues gained momentum. Her story didn't just change perceptions, it ignited a movement of compassion and accountability. It reminded people that kindness isn't just about grand gestures, it's about noticing someone's pain and choosing to act. As her voice grew louder, so did her impact. She traveled to share her story, speaking to audiences who had never considered the struggles veterans face. She used her platform to advocate for change, highlighting the flaws in the system and encouraging people to look beyond stereotypes. Her transformation became a rallying cry for those who felt forgotten, giving them the courage to believe in a brighter future. The ripple effects of Trump's actions and her story reached far and wide. Media outlets, social platforms, and communities all played a role in spreading the message. The simple image of Trump sitting with her on that sidewalk became iconic, representing the power of compassion to break barriers. Critics and supporters alike couldn't deny the significance of what had been set in motion. Her life now serves as a reminder that everyone has the potential to make a difference. Whether it's through listening, helping, or simply showing kindness, we all have the power to change someone's world. Her journey from the streets to stability wasn't just her story. It became a collective story of hope, resilience, and the impact of humanity. And it all began with one moment of compassion. Okay, so, are you, or someone you know, facing similar struggles? Reach out in the comments below. Our community is here to support you. Share this video to help us connect with those who need to hear this message of hope. Together, we can create more stories of transformation like this one. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to join our movement of positive change.